I think we have a big agenda today, so I'd say try to keep it short unless you're really compelled to go long. There's a number of things that we're going to get to, and we're going to do another roundtable right after this one, actually. So I will ask Livia if she can get us started with a check-in and temperature check on the community.
Thanks. Can I suggest something? You can tell me if no, but if we could do this temperature check of the stewards of like, I feel like it's been a long time we don't do this inward, like how everyone is feeling as a steward and with their role, and how are they feeling?
Yeah, let's do that. And if there's something around the community you want to add, tack it on.
Cool. I've been feeling I felt a little bit confused this week, to be honest, of like all of the things that I have a feeling that I didn't do anything like super right, that I just like shared my attention on a lot of things that got like halfway done or something. And maybe a self-reflection is trying to improve on that, on taking less things, but then committing more with them. And also I feel very excited personally about the Hatch outreach. And I think this started to bring up a lot of reflections on the culture that weren't so visible before. So it was also like a moment of self-evaluation of like the cultural aspect, like soft gov and all of this. So there was a bit of a crisis, but also like feeling very confident about the relationships we've been building and the trust in the community that feels like this moment is not as scary as it would be if there was like a lonely feeling. And I'll pass to Griff.
Yeah, is on the steward side, I feel like we're all a little siloed. It's like it feels like, oh wow, there's a lot going on in all of those places. Oh shit, Except for some of them have like. What's nice is some of them have calmed down. Like legal is pretty chill, and Hatcher outreach is pretty chill. I mean, just like relative to the rest. Whereas comms is like, oh my god, I don't know how Chuy's handling all this, and then there's the parameters going really fast, and then there's a common swarm. Like I can't even see what's going on because I'm so focused in my areas, and I've assumed that's how a lot of other people feel as well. And on the community side, Hatch Param parties are sick, especially the ones that Chuy and I have been doing outside to other communities have been really good engagement opportunities when we go to their Discord and show up in their space, and it's very attractive. So that's been really cool. And with that, I'll pass it to Nate.
Temperature check is good inward as well. I think there's just a lot of balls floating in the air right now, and just trying to keep up with everything is difficult at times. That's I don't have actually much to reflect on outside of that. So I will pass to Juan.
Thanks, Nate. Yeah, I think these past 2 weeks have been difficult for me because like I am a peace worker and I have been seeing like so many violence in the world, and like there's been a strike in my country, and like people is being like shot by policemen, and like those kind of things. Like it's something that I don't like to see. I don't like to that they are happening in this world, and that they're like the best we can do is what we're already doing, like working in to build these structural changes and trying to promote new values in our society. So yeah, it's like I have been feeling between these two polarities. Like yeah, every time I get into this world, I get so much hope. I see so much work that is happening and things that can go well, and so much like motivation. But when you turn the TV and see the news, it's like man, like sometimes the reality doesn't match the aspirations you have, or at least maybe it's just that sometimes we want like things to go at our own pace and things to go like fast, but sometimes things like have their own time. And I think that the social transformation that we think it's also going to take like some time, and that it's important for us to always have a strength to keep pushing in this direction. And yeah, that's like my feeling. But otherwise, I am super motivated and happy to be working here. And yeah, I will pass to Chuy.
Thank you, Juan. Well, uh, it's it's exciting. Like I've been describing it as exciting, the last temperatures checks, but I feel that it's it's getting more intense, maybe. So yeah, I feel that it might be a good moment also to just start like more openly talking to the community about uh, yeah, conflict management and some stuff like this, because it's just like I feel like temperature is so the heat is rising.
Okay.
And
I'm not getting
yeah, it's like
Oh.
I'm sorry, I don't know what's wrong with my internet, but if I don't have it's better. So like it's the heat is rising more intense, like we're getting so close. So yeah, I guess that just people in general need to be reminded that in the community there are like ways in which we can deal with this. And and well, yeah, uh, it's also exciting, but we should be watch out for any obstacles that we might face. And also to Durgadas.
Oh, sorry, I'm not really a steward, but I'm really grateful for so the temperature for me is I'm trying to figure out a way to not be so much time behind this computer. It's springtime, we have garden going in, so I'm feel like I'm operating at a really high level now in my life, but I'm sort of abandoning some of the things. I'm not able to make progress on my yoga studio and stuff like that. I understand there's some chaos kind of going around the world and all of that. I feel a bit privileged to be isolated from a lot of that, and so I'm just trying to show up with compassion for people who are experiencing difficulties now. And yeah, so temperature wise, as far as yeah, it does feel like there's a lot of chaos at the moment, but I keep hoping that from that chaos we'll find some kind of breakthrough. So that's it for me.
Yeah, I'll take it. I know, like we're in a hurry, so yeah. Parents party, amazing, and I'm feeling great. Yeah, it's all going super good. I'll pass it to Edu.
Thank you, Zeptimus. This is a personal, more of a reflection, and I feel similar to Livy in the sense that this past week I have been thinking a lot in the DEC, and I felt a little bit confused and like lost in the directions that the directions for at least my working group was coming and where it was going to take me or where it was going to take, and if I was doing the right thing or like if I was not doing enough for proposal. It was like a thought in my mind, like, and then when I hit one of the param parties, it also I became aware that I was so focused at some point during the past 2 months in reaching people that I lost touch with all the aspects. And so I took this time and I reflected, okay, let's just go back and attend as much parents party as you can and just like try to reconnect. And that has been my trying to find sense for the past week. And yeah, that's it. And I will pass it to, I don't know who's missing. I think Craig.
Greg may not be here anymore. Santi, would you like to go next?
Thank you.
Oh, Craig, I
Dani.
see you. Sorry, I see you. I don't know why I thought you weren't there. Craig, you want to go? And then. Craig, we can't hear you, but maybe we'll pass to Santi, and if your audio works, come back to you.
Thank you, Tam. I've had these past weeks. I've had mixed feelings. In one way, since Sean joined, which was just like a treasure found in him. Well, actually, he found through Twitter, through the Twitter tweet posted a couple of months ago, I guess now. It's been a pleasure to have him on the working group. At certain point we lost all the people having legal background, and Anya and Marina they left. And I'm not a lawyer, I'm used to deal with laws, but on a regular context, not on a gray area like where we are. So I needed someone there, and he just showed up at the right moment, and it's been amazing. So I've been really I'm really happy, he came and how things have been evolving, and I feel really comfortable with him and all the work he's putting there. And on the other side, I've been so engaged with these other projects that I've been doing that I've lost a little bit of touch with the rest of the community, I have to admit, but these have sucked me a lot. Hopefully we released this project last weekend and things are starting to smooth down and get a little more calm. I'm getting some more sleep because that's another thing that I was dealing with, and I'm starting to feel better. And at the same time, we're having this awesome farms voting, which is just incredible. The tool has it's just incredible, and engaging everyone on this process is just the best way to realize that you are part of a community that is absolutely unique. And when you look at that and just step back and look at it and what we've built in so little time, it's just incredible. So I'm just proud of all of you guys. I'll pass it to Suga. Or maybe, sorry, Katie, maybe Craig was coming first. If he's got his volume, his voice working.
No, still can't hear you, Craig. I don't know. It's not working, Craig. All right, Katie, would you like to go next? Short, if we can keep it short.
Yeah, very short. Yeah, I'm feeling great about moving, having learned so much in these last couple of weeks, and it's crazy to think about where I was a short while ago, and how frankly there's not enough hours in the day for everything. I'm feeling a little bit afraid, might be the word, for everything that I feel like I should be doing or need to be doing or people want me to be doing, and just trying to figure out how to get a handle on that balance. And I suppose that will come too, because everything falls into place. So if Craig is there, I'll pass it to him. Otherwise, back to you, Karen. Thank you.
Craig, can we take a last shot at this? I see that you're, yeah, not, okay. All right, I think in the interest of time, that was a really nice intro, but I'd like us to maybe move on now. Yesterday in the soft club, we did talk about this a little bit, about the post from Jeff around the impact hour distribution. And I just want to open some space in the stewards call for a little steward sort of roundtable around this post. And specifically, I'd like to ask a question and get advice process from everyone here in terms of doing hatcher outreach and reaching out to potential hatchers. I think that there's a lot of advantages to participating in the TEC.
Is it me or?
That's just gone.
He's gone.
Yeah, I've lost her too.
She rage quit. Oh no. Well, maybe she when.
But I
Tammy-
didn't think we had parameters for that in this meeting.
Yeah. When she comes back, maybe she comes back. Oh, Tam, we lost you.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
Oh,
just
no.
came back.
I just came back now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Everything I said was gone.
sorry.
Yep.
Yeah.
Where's the last thing you heard?
Like, hey, we want to have a roundtable about Jeff's post.
And then it went out.
Okay. All right, let me start again then. So I'd like for this, we covered this a little in soft gov last night, but I think another space we should discuss this is in the stewards group as well. So I'd like for us to sort of have a roundtable, and in the interest of time, maybe one and a half minutes, if all of the stewards could sort of share their opinion on this as well, in terms of like advice process. I'd like to ask what do you think in terms of like, is the distribution of impact hours a deterrent to token engineers who want to come in, because they would have to buy their way in with such, I don't know if this is a high level, but the sums that are comparable to what the impact hours are comparable in XDI. I'm not sure if I explained that clearly, so let me explain how I came to this sort of way of thinking. Maybe some feedback for me this week is like, this week was quite transformational for me. I think a lot of things clicked that hadn't clicked before, and I was seeing things in different ways that I haven't before, which is always exciting. And there's a lot of like overwhelming around this week. And one of the things that I was trying to imagine is, as we continue to do hatcher outreach, and we have these figures and all of this data for people to use to determine whether they're going to participate in the hatch and at what level they want to participate, trying to glean what their criteria would be for participating in the hatch. And from some of the conversations I've had with certain token engineers, it was around their governance way. You know, they would participate if they knew that they could participate in a meaningful way. Otherwise, it might not be worth their time. So the proposal yesterday that was in the top place, I used those numbers just to do some really, back of the envelope calculations, which was sort of to say that, okay, if I was on the long tail of impact hour allocations, but I really want to participate in the TEC, if it's somewhere that I could have governance to make a difference. The idea is that if I want to participate, I want to make a real difference. The numbers that come up is 10 to 15K to be in the top 20 in terms of like governance, and 16 to 55K to be around to match the top 10, just based on impact hour allocation and not based on the total raise from builders who don't, aside from impact hours. I wanted to ask all of the stewards, does it feel to you like the impact hour distribution would be a deterrent to token engineers who are not deep in our community like we are, but might want to participate and in a commons. And if not, why not? I'd love to hear everyone's thoughts on why it wouldn't be a deterrent as well. And with this, I think I will pass first to Zeptimus.
Thanks, Tom. Yeah, I actually wrote a post in there. So like, I want to keep it short in here because I know like the call is going to be long. But basically what I think, like, being honest, like 10K doesn't look scary. Like, you know, like if you didn't get involved at all, and actually you have to think like on the most of the parameters, like bakers are handling like most of the governance. But yeah, I really write it on the forum post, and I think like this is the place where everything is going to be more transparent to discuss. But yeah, that's my opinion overall. I'll pass it to Chuy.
Chuy, I think does that pass to you? Oh, I'll pass to Nate then.
Yeah, I think it may deter token engineers at the initial distribution of impact hours. But I do think it just depends on how we treat the TEC token afterwards, especially if we can trade it on secondary markets. I think that distribution will redistribute itself over time to those token engineers who are actually engaged and who are interested in participating in this community. I don't know if, governance is the real incentive that we, governance tokens is the real incentive that we want to provide for token engineers at the end of the day. I think that, having a place where token engineers can share their work and have, a platform to really, to share their thoughts and their views is an alternative incentive that we can have. And at the end of the day, I do think that the people who are most engaged with this community and who continue to be engaged with this community, and right now it's the builders, should have the highest governance in that situation. Because, even though they may not be token engineers directly, they are looking out for the actual DAO itself. So it just depends on how we approach it after the hatch. There's a lot of variables in the air still. I think the initial distribution is very skewed, and it doesn't provide many incentives for token engineers to participate initially. But I do think those incentives may be the wrong incentives for token engineers, and that's just my opinion. So I will pass it to Chuy.
I'm sorry, I'm having some connection issues. I'm sorry, what was the question again?
The question is, does the initial distribution pose a deterrent to token engineers who want to participate in this token engineering commons based on some like back of the envelope figures of the first proposal or the proposal that was in the top place yesterday, with changes. And the sort of the calculations were roughly to have governance in the, or to have a sufficiently high governance in the TEC to be interesting to someone in token engineering who's not deep in our community like we are, but maybe on tangential and working in parallel. To buy your way into the top 20 would be 10 to 15K, and the top 20 would be 16 to 55K. And is that a deterrent, or is that no big deal? Is it still something that the TEC is still very attractive for many other reasons other than the governance proposal?
I don't think I am like informed enough to make to have an informed decision in the matter. But, I mean, in a general way, I could I say that if, I mean, this is what we're working for, right? Like we find value in this, and if people in the token engineering field also like can see this value. I don't think like speaking like about the amounts, I don't think they are like very like exaggerated or just like out of this world. Because I mean, if you're gonna be part of a community that can strengthen tools for coming up with economies, like what is the? I mean, it's not the. I don't think it's a high price like at all. I don't know how it can affect like how it can change through time, but I do feel that it's. I mean, I would expect that kind of value for just the resources and everything that is getting put together around token engineering. I'll pass it to Katie.
Thank you. I mean, again, I'm not a steward, but just real quick, similar to you, Chuy, I don't really feel prepared to make an informed decision on that, but I really liked what Nate said about incentive and what happens afterwards in terms of the tokens. I will pass it. Now I've lost the list of everybody. I'll pass it back to Tam to pass for me. Thank you.
Craig, how is your audio? I wanted to work, Craig. Juan Carlos, will you go?
Yep. I want to show that I'm making some ramen, and I was actually thinking about this to explain what I think. And it's like sometimes when we're cooking, we try the food and we say, hey, it's a little bit simple. Let's put a little bit of salt on it. And sometimes when we are trying to like get to the perfect point of salt, then we make it salty. So I think that the initial idea was to open this door for other people to be part of the community who can like give value to the community that is not already in the community. Because like if we wanted like old school token engineers, it would be like a closed group. But with this idea of transdisciplinarity and with this idea of community, we like opened this door for new people to come. And now like the people that were before is saying like, okay, maybe we wanted some salt, but now it's too salty. So yeah, I think that maybe we could like think on ways of how can we like leverage this. And also I think that maybe like the old school token engineers already have some skin in the game, and yeah, I think that their value is super important. But I think that the added value that the newcomers have brought into the community is not less important. So I think that there should be like this open discussion and to integrate more token engineers so that they feel that this community is not like aside from them, and that we are making the same dish, and that maybe if it's too salty, then it would be good to add some of those ingredients that we added in the starting point that could help to balance the salt that we already have in the plate. So yeah, that's like my take, and I'm so sweaty. Here is really hot. I will pass to Griff.
Yeah, it's a fun analogy. I think in the grand scheme of things, the hatchers are going to trust us that we did a fair distribution because we have a very clear process, and it's a very, I would say, one of the more magical processes for initial token distribution for a team that's ever happened in the history of humanity, in the history of crypto. But seriously, like, come on, we're using gratitude to distribute the initial tokens. Like, who's gonna complain about this? That's pretty cool. So the like details around how the distribution was, like, it's okay. I think Jeff's argument is, whoa, hey, there's a whole lot of tokens going to a bunch, not very many token engineers. And yeah, you know, the token engineers had to choose whether or not they wanted to participate in the TEC. They all knew about it. It's not like we were hiding and doing this in the shadows. It's been around. We were in their Discord. We tweet a lot. People are starting to think all TE is TEC. So like we're well known, was not a secret, and they made the choice not to participate and instead probably go make a lot of money building crypto projects. So it's okay for them to buy their way in. And we also have a parameter called the impact hour rate, which is going to be voted on by the people who want to participate. Anyone with CStack has a say, and so then it's not even known how we distribute the percent. And I think with considering that a lot of them still will get some, it's not like they get nothing. We're distributing it probably to around 400 people. This team percent right now it's 317, but more people earn impact hours every round. So the big thing here is that the team percent is generally just this obscure piece of information. And if our team percent, our impact hour percent, is somewhere between 25 and 5%, like is less than 25%, then it's fine. No one's going to care. Be like, oh yeah, the team who built this and knows how everything works gets 25%. Probably a good thing. I mean, a lot of people are coming in and they're like, well, I don't feel like I've engaged enough to even have an opinion on the parameters at this stage or on the MVV, and they don't feel so like, I almost feel like maybe it should be higher, because a lot of the feedback I'm getting from token engineers is they don't want to engage because they feel out of the loop and they would like governance power to be in our hands anyway. So, but I'll pass it to, let's see, did Santi go?
I think it's a very personal question for everyone, but on top of that, there is anyone, as Griff said, anyone who's joining any project understands that at least 25% for the team is something absolutely reasonable. On top of that, they can't even know exactly who gets what. Where do you see that in other projects? You see a 25% and you don't even know who behind that 25%. So I think when we're clear, and I don't think that should be a restriction for anyone wanting to join personally, but that's my personal decision. If you guys that have been more in touch with, onboarding hatchers have that sense, I personally don't have any issue changing anything here that makes more money come in, which is, for me, the main goal of this project. So even if I don't have to get any single token, I don't care. That's my own personal opinion. But, I understand. If I was going to join, I would love that people that's been building this to get that 25%. And I think it's fair, and it's probably the best way to make sure that this project succeeds, because if the people who's been building it keeps being here, and I want to invest because I believe they are doing a good job. All I want is they to stay. So that's how I say it. I will pass it to Eduardo.
Sorry, my internet got disconnected. Can you rephrase what I have to answer?
Sure. The question, we're doing a small roundtable around impact hour distribution based on the post that Jeff posted on the forum, where he raised concerns and has proposals for some actions we might want to take. And essentially the question is something that I've been asking for advice process on, but also I think we should all consider as we're voting for proposals and structure proposals, is do you think, is your feeling, or from what you've experienced or the conversations you've had, that the impact hour distribution we have today would pose would be a deterrent to token engineers who are on the long tail of the allocation and would need to significantly contribute in order to have governance that might be interesting to them if they participate in the DEC.
I don't think it will be a deterrent because I understand the argument of the governance power and how someone will want to have governance power, but at the same time, I believe that the purpose of the project is not necessarily it's not about necessarily the benefits of an individual, but of a community. So if a token engineer at a certain point doesn't see the big scope and is not able to recognize the positivity of this project, besides that parameter, I think it's someone who will think on himself first than the big picture. And I'm not so sure if that's someone who will contribute actively to the community. If someone just gets stopped by that parameter. So I don't know. For me, it's not something that initially, if we explain it properly, because what could happen is we get misunderstood. But if we explain properly the purpose, I don't think that parameter will stop any committed token engineer. I will pass back to you.
Livia?
I think there's so many variables coming in now. I kind of feel like a meme, you know, that one that's just looking like many mathematical equations that are coming all at once. It's like, oh my God, so much. I think it's a little bit scary because it's kind of like the time of the truth for the culture that we've been building. Because this governance power means that the people will have decision-making power, and the decision-making power, it's always scary, but when it's shared and distributed, but we wouldn't be here if we didn't want it happening this way. And I feel like this process of the mission, vision, and values was so important and so special that was done this way, because I feel like we have a lot of people that are very connected with the mission, vision, and values that we have. And these people are thankfully the ones that have more impact hours and that are like in the that are very present in this list. And that if we think, even if people are not token engineers, if they are aligned with our mission and they participated in this process and they understand, we all understand the importance of the weight of our decisions, and then I think we're good. And also, like Griff said, there is a choice in this process that we were building until we got to this point, that a lot of people, they did not have the availability to be here now, and there was a trust that we were doing this in the right way, and this trust comes in their soft commitments and in their membership and in their choice to participate in the commons, and on seeing this as the shilling point for token engineering, as the body that will help advance this discipline. So I do think there is a conversation between all of the parts. I don't think nothing is segregated. And if anyone is curious about how things have been done, we have like a library. We have information for like a lifetime of someone wanting to look into it. So I'm confident about this, and yeah, and I think it's a moment of trust. And I did think a lot, question a lot during this week, but having clarifications and having learned a lot actually with this process, I do feel confident now. And I think, did everyone go?
Hey, Durgadas, if you'd like to share your thoughts briefly as well. I know you're technically not a steward, but I'd like to give you the space to share your thinking as well.
Yeah, I just think a lot of people who are going to participate in this process are not going to be necessarily comfortable with only being able to see one part of the leg of this elephant, and so that's just part of the deal, and what's great about this is I'm not entirely comfortable with it, and there has to be a certain amount of comfort level with chaos, and I have to be able to shout out to Griff to make sure, and Livia and Tam and everyone, are we headed this elephant in the right direction? Never mind the fact that I don't understand that it's a complete elephant. And so I think that there does have to be some trust in that, and there has to be some bravery in that, and I think oftentimes people aren't necessarily as comfortable as that, and I certainly find myself lost all the time, but I'm just trying to be brave and participate, and part of being comfortable with that kind of thing is just showing up. You have to show up. If you don't show up, then you don't get the benefit, and so the showing up is a key part of that, and the people who are here and participating and have impact hours seem to me to be the people who are actually showing up, and participatory democracies are about that.
Cool, thank you for that. And then I guess I'll share my thoughts quickly too. First off, I love that this is a community that's embracing of dissent. That's actually really important. It doesn't, host these conversations quietly, without such transparency. And I think Jeff's arguments were really sound. And what resonated most with me was, the model that we're using today really skews or favors high visibility. And I think that's something that's been voiced by multiple people, multiple times. And I think in fairness, we've tried to redress this through having, the subjective praise quantification, have rotating members of the community, and have multiple qualifiers for each one. And then also encouraging specific praise to the people who are doing work in the shadows, that aren't participating a lot, that aren't so visible. And I would say probably the weakness, I think, of the model that we're using was really this, this weight towards presence. And I feel like that's not exactly a fair equation for contributing value as well. And then I would say, the more we've looked at it and the more conversations we've had about it, it was an open and transparent process. And so we have to stand by the results because, there's I really support any proposal that can help evolve this model and use the insights from the TEC distribution to make it better in the future. That's my thinking. This was really great. Thank you everyone for sharing your thoughts. I just think it's really important for everyone to be heard on this now. Hey Craig, I see that you popped on. Would you like to say something?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Nice. Oh boy. Right. So I have been listening. Durgadas nicely said I'm constantly lost as well, so don't feel bad about it. I think I sit squarely with Nate, and seems like largely everyone. And in the end, though, I do agree with Santi. I'm really just here for the success of what we're building, and if the group feels like we need to somehow shift that distribution, then let's shift it, right? But then in the end, though, I do wonder if any sort of retroactive manipulation of the distribution, given what Tam just described, would be more harmful than not. And that's really all, and I'm probably last.
Yeah, and I think you ended on a great note, so thank you for sharing that. All right, so let's move on. Spotlight for tomorrow. Nate, you got us covered. Thank you. Is it all on lock?
Yeah, Jessica secured up an interview with James Woff from the NEAR protocol, so community manager there, and so be talking to us tomorrow.
Okay.
We all love James.
Yeah. I know that, I don't know if it's on this, it's like one of these annoying things to do. If Ivy uses this spreadsheet so that she can prepare the slide for tomorrow. So I'm just going to put it on your protocol, right?
Yep.
And James, and that way she doesn't have, I think this is how you spell his name, is that correct?
Yep.
Okay. Neat. And just,
And there's two James Waz in the DOS space. They both spell it like that.
oh, neat.
Yeah, isn't that fun?
Cool. Cool. So the blog post, Katie, thanks so much for such an incredible blog post. And Craig, thank you so much for supporting Katie through that as well. And maybe we can skip, because we only have 15 minutes left. We have another week to build the next set of topics for the blog post, which would be the May 23rd and May 25th. So maybe we'll just skip this in the interest of time, and we can say. Okay.
Sorry, yeah, I want to make sure that there's kind of emergency support that I think Juan may have brought up, that token log has an issue. We solved the issue, but Wesley is still asleep at 6 a.m. his time, so it will not be fixed right away. However, if you notice a proposal that disappears, if you go, it's currently token log is sorting by the last time the issue was edited. So if you see an issue fall off the board, you can go in and edit that issue by adding a space somewhere in the issue, right? And then update, and then it'll pop back on. But that's going to kick someone else's off. It's only showing 25 proposals. So it should be fixed today, when Vitor already made a pull request. Seriously, Wesley just has to push a button. But he is the only person who can push that button. So just if you see something, maybe don't make a lot of proposals today and focus on debates. Or if you need to fork a proposal, maybe close one of your old proposals. At least if this is happening in the next 5 hours. And if someone has a complaint, at least you are all aware of what is happening. That's it. It should be fixed though.
Okay, thanks for sharing that. Okay, cool. So countdown to hatch. So we know the key dates are this Thursday for voting in the preliminaries, and then the following Thursday in the community call for the final vote for the final params. And which means we will be doing after that the final hatch demo with the final params, and then the hatch would be as soon as possible after that. The target is still the end of the month, the end of May. So we're really, really right around the corner now. Our retrospective is tomorrow. Please jump in the board and close your issues or update your issues. At least update if you don't close them. And maybe we'll go around now and do our sprint check-in in the last 11 minutes. So I'm going to ask Griff to kick us off with params and common swarm.
Params are going swimmingly. Major praise for Nate for updating all the forum posts. Thank you so much, Nate. This is so huge, and they look great. Also, so as everyone knows what's going on in params, Common Swarm has just a few feedback forms that were. Thank you for submitting feedback to the people who did. There's a feedback button on the hatch. Everything looks good. We're doing some more testing, and there'll be one more demo next, not this week, but next week. Well, not next week either. So we will have 2 weeks without demos. And we're bringing in all the dashboard team is going to come to start working on Common Swarm stuff. While we're doing the Commons upgrade, dashboard is going to focus on design and user testing, engineering, design, user testing. So there will be no more development in the dashboard. All that development power is going into the Common Swarm. So we'll be really ready with people primed to support it during the launch. And I'll pass it to Livia. Sofka.
Just opening my board. Just 1 second. So I think I'm focusing most on patch outreach today, and I mean this sprint, not hatch outreach, just the hatch in general and the hatch parties and all that. So these TC agreements are in progress with Sean. How's Discord? Oh my God, I should open ZenHub more often. Sorry, Tim.
It's okay, but I think opening ZenHub more often is great advice for everyone.
Yeah. So, well, I'm so confused. Can I pass and then get back to me?
Absolutely. Seb, should we do transparency?
Yeah. Yeah, can you put the word? Like, actually, like this week we were discussing and like the vote is running and it's going very smoothly. We've had some problems on the comms call, like when there is videos, like the vote is not recording the videos, but overall it's working good. We finished the stewards audit, so yeah, I should close that one. And comms is still in progress. I don't know, Chuy, if you have any update regarding the comms audit. Otherwise, yeah, that's everything we were doing.
Well,
Yeah, I'm gonna try to have it ready by the end of this week, and with more progress than the last one.
Thank you.
yeah, the stewards audit is on the forum, so please feel free to go and check it out. I'd maybe like to also jump into Hatcher outreach now, because Eduardo and I have been conversing around, we're approaching the hatch. What happens to Hatcher outreach after the hatch? And we're sort of having evolving conversations around the hatcher part, of course, will no longer be necessary. So the hatch part of the group may turn into something more like hatch relations and TEC token holder relations in the future. Maybe not, we'll see. And proposals, we'll sort of see where that goes to. I'd say the big things from my perspective of the Hatch outreach group is that we finally have a really nice version of the Hatch phase 1 and phase 2. And really nice. I won't share it now just for the, well, okay, maybe I could just jump in here. Yes, it's here. So we have now phase 1 and phase 2 of the Hatchdown Commons upgrade. We're about to be here. So we're here now. So we have it just in time before we're actually hatching. And a one-pager will be built around this that actually just provides more detail about each of quadratic voting and trusted seed and some of those details. The Hatch token being a governance, non-financial governance token. And maybe Eduardo, do you want to add some things for our proposals?
No, I think we are in a transitional space right now with the proposals, just understanding where's the ground below us and basically reaching out to proposals just to check in the ones that has been submitted. We had one call with DK last week, and we will keep working on and see how can we progress with the proposals. We are also in the space where to recognize we need someone who acts as a connector and someone who serves as a bridge, like a little bit of what Jess does, to be this person who sort of have a full vision of the ecosystem or have a very good vision of the ecosystem and can connect and help us connect with proposals and in between proposals and so on. So we are in the process to understand this. Back to you, Tam.
Yeah, thanks, Eduardo. And it would be great if anyone knows someone who just has their finger on the pulse of everything that's going on, maybe they can steer them our way as well to have some initial conversations. Gravity, do you want to give an update as well? Juan Carlos.
Yes. We are working on the distribution of the gravity survey. It's been like a little bit slow, but I already talked with Nate, with Chuy, and with Didan that he has like a library of DAOs that we could like approach to have people like filling this survey. On the Gravity One Hive outreach, I talked with Chuy last week, and he said that one of these days we can have a call with Escanor, that is a member of the One Hive community that can help us push these first like steps of Gravity in One Hive. For the Make Icebreakers, I updated the activity that I had before, that was like an icebreaker that I think like some of you already had, but like I refreshed some of the questions, and today I talked with Edu and with Livy, and the idea of these icebreakers would be to have them on the AMA calls, so that we can divide the people in the call between like people with experience in the organization and people who is new in the organization, so that each new member in the organization can have like a one-on-one with an experienced member in the organization. But we said that today there were not so many people in the AMA call, but maybe when after the hatch, like the AMA calls will fill up again, and it would be a good moment to make the icebreakers. And I think that we are having this post-hatch changes discussion that is not like one specific activity, but we are like openly talking about it, and I think that we are moving in that sense. So that was like more or less what I wanted to do this sprint.
Cool, thanks for that. And we have 3 minutes, but maybe we, let's see, Chuy, would you like to, I think it's just, yeah, why don't we do comms? Maybe we'll run out of time for legal.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm so behind like on the board. Let me open it here.
You can just give an update if you want, off the cuff.
Okay, so probably by like so sometime this week I'd like to formalize the process that I was developing, like and now with a simpler form, and a lot of these issues that are on the board can go to the the content and distribution workspace, and but yeah, I'm gonna have this closed and updated as much as possible before we start using more the content and distribution workspace.
Cool. Just to let you know, the content and distribution repo is on this board, so that you can actually use the workspace to do the workflow in comms. Then you can actually pull it into the sprint on this shared sprint board as well.
So it could show in both.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Repos you can have multiple repos in one workspace.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Tom.
Cool. Go ahead, Griff.
Paran party! Debates, like there's 3 straight hours of debates. Vitor's hosting one now, Livia's hosting the next one, I'll host the one after that. Please come, please show your things. And Zeptimus, are you able to record any of these?
Yeah, sure, always.
I would love to see the videos of it, and then like, just because it might be useful for the runoff, when we pick ones, if we already had some YouTube videos of people showing it and people asking questions about it, it would just be done, and that would be really nice. Is there one that you can't make?
I mean, it's supposed to be an Omega call now, but I could just add the bot there and be present on the parameters. Now I have a friend helping me.
Wow, we did it. We cloned Zeptimus. Amazing. We can have Zep in 2 places at once, finally. Okay, cool. Thanks. That's all I have.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.